So we're going to jump in because we want to be really mindful of time. And we've got two parts to today. One is a general overview of the graduate school and sort of student support and student affairs kinds of programs and services. And the second part is a more focused look on doctoral education as opposed to graduate education in general. What's different about being a doctoral student than being your run-of-the-mill graduate student. So to be mindful of time, I want to start. I'm Laura Valenti, Assistant Dean at the Graduate School. And I want to take care of a couple of housekeeping things first. One, yes, we're being recorded. Two, there is going to be a specific time for questions and answers. So if you have questions and answers as we're going through something, feel free to jot that down. But we've tried in the past letting there be questions during the presentation in the chat room. And what we find is that it ends up distracting folks from the presentation that's happening. And so we don't want that to happen. So jot your questions down. And it may be that we're going to answer your question as you go along if you wait to then. Anyway, when you do ask a question, try to make it something that is sort of applicable to a broader group. This isn't the forum to ask for specific advice, your financial aid package isn't what you thought it would be, or, something like that. We will absolutely work with you offline for that. But for the questions today, they're going to be more broad and general and applicable to more than just one person. I do want you to know that you are going to receive the written presentation, what you're seeing on the screen. You will receive it both in an email and in the Canvas orientation course, so you don't need to feel like you need to write down everything that's on the screen. You're going to get that, and when you do get it, it will have live links. So as we're going through this, when you see a link to Redhawk Central, financial aid, the counseling center, etc., when you get this, those will be live links for you. Let's see, recorded, time for Q&A, available in Canvas course. I guess those are the housekeeping things. Oh, and remain muted during the presentation so that we don't hear dogs barking and babies crying. We know everybody has a life outside of being a student, so try to keep yourself muted. Once we get to the question and answer part, it will be fine. We'll call on you and you unmute, and we're happy to hear from you. Okay, but for the presentation, keep muted. So that's the housekeeping stuff. Now into the presentation. I want to welcome everybody officially. I told you who I am. I am joined today by Susan Hagan, Debbie Reynoso, Karen Ferrante, and Nellie Lecter. Those are the folks from the professionals from TGS that are here with me today. So I just want to start by saying that at MSU, our academic programs are not just about your specific education content in the classroom at that moment. What we're trying to do is help create and sustain well-rounded, successful individuals that are ready for not only the workplace, but the world around them. We want you to be happy, successful, contributing members of society, and to have an understanding of the complexities of the world around you. The structure at MSU and at lots of universities with graduate schools can be a little bit confusing because you will have an academic home in a particular college or school, but the graduate school is really the sort of overarching coordinator of all things graduate education. Okay, so while your department may be in CSAM, in the College of Science and Math, it is a graduate school that will coordinate overall educational processes and policies for you. Okay, so it's a little bit complex, it's a little bit layered, there's a little bit of a gray area, but we're gonna walk you through all of that throughout your time with us. Okay. So we do this in a few ways. We provide leadership and direction to the programs. We work with them, and the global we of TGS, the graduate school, work with the programs on everything from curricular issues to policy issues, student support, etc. We help create a learning environment that is distinguished by high quality graduate programs. And again, while the academic programs have a home in a college or school, the overall quality of the program, what the standards are, minimum standards, et cetera, that happens out of the graduate school in close consultation with all of the faculty. And through our work with the Graduate Council and specific programs, we make sure that every program is aligned with the university's overall mission and goals, and we do our own strategic planning to make sure that that is the case. And finally, I'm going to say that we also do this by demonstrating our commitment to not only these high quality programs, but to making sure that we have access to those programs by a diverse student body. That's really important to us, and we do everything we can to make sure that that comes to fruition. So some of the things that that Student Affairs does within the graduate school are things like orientation, which you're experiencing right now, enrollment, assistantships. We do the academic standing reviews. You know, are you or are you not at the minimum GPA that you need? We help with student grievances and appeals to certain actions that happen. Students who have special circumstances, they are they're ill, they're facing a crisis, they are in financial straits, those sorts of things. TGS is here to walk students through that, to connect them to other services, etc. We oversee commencement. Sometimes we oversee 8 commencements in a 2-day period. Like we have during COVID. We oversee the Honor Society and the Dean's Advisory Boards. So those are some of the ways we will connect with you throughout your time here. And so now we're going to get into introductions. Our dean, Dr. Scott Herness, can't be here today. He is on vacation, a very well deserved and earned vacation. And he is the leader of the grad school, and he leads a team of professionals, each of whom have an area of expertise and specialty, but he is the leader. And now you're going to hear from him in his own words.
Hello, my name is Dr. Scott Herness, and I'm the Vice Provost for Research and Dean of the Graduate School here at Montclair State. And it's my great pleasure to congratulate you on becoming a graduate student and to welcome you to our campus. We're so pleased to have you here, and I know that you're going to enjoy your time here at Montclair State. Now, this will be a different semester for sure, just as every semester since the pandemic has started has been different. But I want you to know that this is a very safe environment, and we have a very high vaccination rate among our faculty, staff, and students. And I applaud you for your confidence in pursuing graduate education under these unprecedented times. Today, you're going to hear about resources that are available to you as a graduate student, but I want you to know the most important resource that you have, and that is the graduate school. The graduate school is the #1 advocate for graduate students on our campus. We're here to serve you from the first day of your first class until the day you receive your diploma. And when that day comes, it's my hope that circumstances will allow me to personally hand you your diploma on stage at our commencement ceremony. So thank you for choosing Montclair State. I know you've worked hard to get here. I know you're going to work hard while you're here. And I know that we are going to take a lot of pride in the accomplishments you make after you leave here. I have every confidence in your success, and I look forward to seeing you on campus. Thank you.
So that was Dean Herness, and although he's not with you today, there will absolutely be opportunities for you to meet him throughout your time here. He is not an invisible dean. He is absolutely somebody who you will connect with in various ways. And now I turn it over to our associate dean.
Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome. My name is Nelly Lecter Morales, and as Laura said, I am the associate dean for the grad school. I wear many hats in the grad school, but one of them is especially important to me, and that is the hat connected to doctoral programs at the university. I am Scott's deputy, as you can see in the slide, but I wanted to stress that we are always in the graduate school working as a team. We are in permanent communication across all the units in the grad school, so we are always trying our best to better serve you and better identify how we can make your experience better at the university. Teamwork is extremely important for us, as is communication. I do oversee doctoral policy with Scott, within Herness, I should say, and we are constantly seeking feedback from students and faculty about potential improvements to doctoral policy. So if you ever have a comment or a suggestion or something that concerns you, feel free to talk to me. I'm going to put my email in the chat so that you have that. I also participate in the dissertation defenses, so you will see me soon enough, probably in your dissertation defense as the external observer. If not, I will coordinate someone to attend in my stead. And then I also work with all doctoral students once you reach candidacy, which will be soon enough. It seems far away, but it's really not. And I'll talk more about that in a later part of today's session.
Thank you, Nelly. And Dr. Lecter Morales's email is on that screen that you just saw, and you will have it, like I said, after this, you're getting all of that information, so you'll be able to connect with everybody. And these slides will be a reminder of what each of us do, so you'll know who to connect with. So that's there. Next, that's me. And so I lead a team of fearless student affairs advocates, and they each have their own area of specialization, and you're going to hear from them. And the things that I focus on beyond general student support and advocacy, I do a lot with the development and revision of policies and procedures, always seeking to reduce obstacles to student success and to make sure that policies and procedures have a sound reason for whatever requirements we're setting, and that we don't have rules just for rules' sake. I respond to student grievances and appeals. So if a student is having difficulty with anything from something in the classroom to they get an academic action against them for having a low GPA or something like that. All of those kinds of things, if a student needs special circumstances or wants to submit an appeal, those sorts of things usually go through me. I try to be the liaison between students and their academic programs when that is needed, when there is something special going on. As Nelly mentioned, once a student reaches candidacy, the circumstances are usually quite specialized, and Nelly takes the lead on sort of issues that surround the, candidacy issues. But anything up until then, please always know that you can contact either one of us. And then I also try to resolve student problems that are caused by extenuating circumstances. As I mentioned earlier, that could be illness, it could be family circumstances, it could be quite a number of things, but never be afraid to bring your special circumstances to me, and I can try to work with you to resolve them. At the graduate school, we're very well aware that you are people with lives outside of being a student, and we know that that can have an effect on you sometimes. So don't hesitate to come to us.
Hi, I'm Deborah Reynoso. I'm the Assistant Director of Student Success here at the Graduate School. So some of the things that I handle are the academic standing review. I'm responsible for the management of graduate students and their academic progress. So I do the academic standing review throughout the academic year. And these policies will be discussed later on in this presentation by Dr. Laura Valenti. I process students' requests such as extension of matriculation. You have a time limit to complete your program, and we'll go over the matriculation time later on in this presentation. I also process course overloads. Graduate students are allowed to enroll in 16 credits in a semester. And if you're a doctoral assistant, you're allowed to enroll in 12 credits. So if you need to take more credits within a semester, you just have to request it through a form that's found on our graduate website. Have your program approve it, and I'll approve it and have the credits increased, so you'll be able to register for more. I also handle reclassifications. When you're accepted, sometimes you could be accepted as conditional or deferred. And once you meet these requirements, you have to petition for reclassification, and then you'll be fully accepted into your program based on that you met the requirements. I also lend student support, and I am here to help you. So if you're having an issue and not sure, where to go or what to do, I can assist you, and I can get you connected to the appropriate services on campus. I am also part of the care team at MSU. This team is a group of administrators that meet regularly to evaluate concerning behaviors of MSU students. And we also address the best way how we could help them and their student needs. These students are referred to us by faculty, staff, and also by other students. So you can refer another student if you're concerned about the behavior of that student. And some examples that you might contact the care team about, like if you want to refer another student to us, would be like for mental health issues. If you notice a student is harming themselves or someone else, substance abuse, eating disorder, anything like that, you would bring up to the care team, and we would take care of it. We would address it. So throughout your time here at MSU, if you have any questions and need assistance with any of these areas, just reach out to me. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Karen Ferranti. I'm the Graduate Student Assistance Coordinator here in the grad school. I do work with the assistantship program, and I do notice quite a bunch of the doctoral students who are here today are also DAs. So you've probably heard from me, and you will definitely hear from me again. So I do manage recommendations and appointments for all of the assistantship positions that we have at MSU. Each assistant needs to be hired, which goes through Workday, and have their tuition remission applied to their account if those benefits are part of your actual offer. We do orientation for all DAs and GAs, and I hope to see all of you on Friday, which is our assistantship orientation. We I evaluate if you are in compliance with the terms and policies of the assistantship. And so it's important for all assistants to be familiar with those terms and the policies that we have in terms of GPA, lots of other things. So we'll go over that on Friday. I offer support and assistance to students and faculty when there is an issue with an assistant or any types of clerical issues that need to be resolved with the assistantship program. Anything to do with the assistantship program on your person. I also oversee the Graduate Honor Society, which is Alpha Epsilon Lambda, or AEL. The way this is administered is we evaluate the GPA each semester and take the top percent, 10% of each individual college, and we send invitations if you are interested. It is by invitation. Each year those GPAs can be a little bit different, but I can tell you that the average GPA each semester is well over 3.9. So it is very competitive, and it is an honor to be part of that. So if you do see an invitation at some point, I do hope that you will join us. So have a great evening. If I can help you with anything, my email is here and I'm happy to help.
Hi, everyone. I'm Susan Hagan. I'm the Enrollment Activities Coordinator. I facilitate enrollment activities across all of the colleges, including doing enrollment outreach for continuing students. I oversee the continuous matriculation process and course, which we'll talk about in a little bit. The leave of absence request. So if there comes a time in your program where you aren't able to take courses in a semester, we do have a process where you can request a leave of absence. I also oversee complete program withdrawals. So sometimes students ultimately decide that the program they're in isn't for them and they aren't going to return. So we do ask that students let us know that. So I oversee that process. I also assist with the coordination of our new student orientation programs, commencement, and our graduate development workshop series, which you will start to see emails about as the semester gets started. We have lots of opportunities for connection. Both we're trying some things in person this semester and online, so keep an eye out for those opportunities. And I also help coordinate the Dean's Advisory Board, so there'll be more information about that coming to you soon as well.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was going to we have one representative, one program representative here with us today. So I just wanted to give Marcia an opportunity to introduce herself before we move on.
Of course.
Hello, everybody. I'm Marcia Dierim. I'm the program associate for the doctoral program in teacher education and teacher development. And I was hoping we were all going to be in person today, but I'm glad to be here anyway. If you're in our program, you're going to hear from me mighty soon. So.
Thanks, Marcia.
So other members of the graduate school team that we want to make sure you are familiar with are our graduate student services specialists. They are our frontline support here in the graduate school. They are ready to answer your questions throughout your experience here at MSU. So when you call or email the main line, those are the staff members who will be responding to you. They'll help troubleshoot your questions and ultimately get you connected to the right people in the graduate school to help you navigate your question or situation. Okay, so other people who are really important to you as you move through your program are people like Marcia, who just introduced herself, and then also the doctoral program directors. They are typically faculty members within the academic department, and they oversee and coordinate various aspects of the program. So that would include admissions, advising and mentoring. They are familiar with the course offerings, when courses are offered, how often they're offered, that kind of thing. They oversee qualifying exams and provide dissertation advisement and defense. So as you were working through the admissions process, you probably met your doctoral program directors, but if not, you certainly will soon. And then there are other department faculty and staff who may also serve as advisors and dissertation committee members for you as you move through your program.
Okay, so back to me, and I am going to cover just a few graduate school policies. Now, the graduate school manual you will receive from us upon the start of the academic year. But I'm picking out just 2 or 3 that I think are critical for you to know before you start your work, okay? And the first one is the issue and the expectation for academic integrity. And so I just want to talk about academic integrity for a minute, and to talk about that, just the concept of academic integrity really encompasses a number of fundamental values, including honesty, respect, trust, responsibility, fairness, and courage. Courage is one of those things that folks sometimes question, like, oh, the others make sense, but where does courage come in with academic integrity? And courage can come in and be needed in a couple of settings. One is the courage to not assist another student in an unfair or inappropriate way when you sort of want to be helpful, right? And the courage to say no to somebody that you care about or are friends with, that's quite important. But also sometimes it's the courage to not do as well as you would like to do. So to know that if I approach this honestly and fairly, I didn't put enough effort in, I didn't start planning ahead, enough, etc., that I'm just going to have to accept the grade that's coming to me, and that can be scary, but it's important that you have the courage that comes with a foundation of honesty and responsibility. So I hope that we count on all of you to have that. I want to point out something that you already know, but I want to sort of drive it home. You're part of a scholarly community now. The number of people who are in a doctoral program across this country is exceptionally small. The percentage of the United States population that ever gets a doctoral degree is exceptionally small. And you are part of that scholarly community. And those communities work best when ethics and values inform the work that you do. And frankly, when our society's educational institutions are infused with ethics and foundation and integrity, our culture becomes stronger all the way down the line. Those with doctorates become leaders in their field, and the sense of integrity and fairness and responsibility will carry through with whatever you do, and you will become a model for all those who come after you. The flip side of academic integrity is academic misconduct. And that's what I want you to stay away from at all costs. Academic misconduct is far more than cheating, the looking over at somebody's test and writing down the answer, or putting a quote in a paper without citing it. yes, those are examples of academic misconduct, but it's far more than that. It's anything that you do that seeks to give yourself an unfair advantage over somebody else. Examples of it beyond those two that sort of everybody always thinks about could be a violation of course rules. So it may not be something that's literally already in the code of conduct, which plagiarism and cheating, et cetera, is already in the code of conduct. But if your faculty member in the syllabus says this course doesn't allow for X, and then you do X, that's academic misconduct. So part of your responsibility is to make sure that at all times you're understanding the expectations that are placed upon you in the classroom, in your lab, in group work, in individual work. You need to know the expectations that are placed upon you. If you are not clear, ask. Anytime, anywhere, ask what the expectations are. Every single faculty member here would rather have that conversation with you in advance than after you misunderstood something and are potentially facing, you know, some sort of charge of a violation. So other examples, we can go to the next slide, can be things like submitting plagiarized work, but please know that that's far more than just a direct quote. You guys are so far past the high school or undergraduate approach of changing a couple of words in a paragraph and thinking that means that it's not a direct quote. Taking somebody's idea, whether or not it's a quote, is plagiarism. You need to make sure that you're crediting other people's ideas. You are all going to someday publish a dissertation and perhaps publish long after that. You don't want anybody taking your ideas without giving you credit. You're going to work very, very hard on developing your own ideas. So did the people who come before you. Make sure you give them credit for that. Okay. It is also a violation and academic misconduct to hand in work in one class that you handed in another class. If you submitted it already for a grade and you have not told the new professor that this is something that I submitted before and I'd like to submit it again, if you have not received approval for that and you haven't been upfront for that, that is academic misconduct. And anything that relates to being dishonest about data or laboratory results or anything like that, also academic misconduct. So even if it's not taking somebody else's ideas or not quoting somebody or not looking at somebody else's test, you can't just make up data either. And so even if you're not stealing it, making it up is academic misconduct. I know these things probably sound incredibly obvious. You are the cream of the crop from wherever you came from and whatever you're going to do now. You are the cream of the crop. I don't expect this to be an issue, but I'm a firm believer in not holding somebody accountable without first telling them what the expectations of them are. Okay, next slide. The other policy that I want to talk about is academic standing. All of you need to maintain a minimum GPA of 3.0. That's to maintain good academic standing. If you are a DA, a doctoral assistant, you must maintain a GPA of a 3.2, but that's to keep your job. You don't get placed on academic probation for under a 3.2, but doctoral assistants do have to have a higher minimum GPA than just the average doctoral student. So I know we have a lot of DAs in this group, so I wanted to let you know that, okay? The very first time your GPA falls below the requirement, you'll be placed on academic probation. You'll be given a certain amount of time and credits to bring your GPA back up. Failure to do so results in dismissal from the program. Should there be an appeal, that's the sort of thing that I mentioned earlier. Appeals would come to me and we look at special circumstances. But that is the general protocol. Okay, under a 3.0 once is probation, under a 3.0 twice, without within the time frame given, would be dismissal. With GPA is one. The other is the number of C and F grades you can attain. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because frankly, we are working on potentially changing this. We're working through graduate council to see if this is going to adjust at all. But as of right now, the policy that you're coming in under is that you can earn no more than 2 C or lower grades. That's C or F because there are no Ds in graduate school, which I think you all know. Okay. All right. I'm going to turn it over to Susan for continuous matriculation.
Yes. So we do have a continuous matriculation policy, which I mentioned briefly earlier. It does apply to all doctoral programs. And basically this means that you need to be continuously enrolled every fall and spring semester during the entirety of your program. So being continuously enrolled means either registering for a credit-bearing course in your program, registering for what we call our continuous matriculation course, which is basically a placeholder. The course number listed there, grad DC1, that would hold your place in the program and keep you in good standing, or you would request a leave of absence. So if there comes a time during the program where you need to take a semester off, you would either request the leave of absence. You are entitled to take 2 of those during the entirety of your program. Exceptions to that limit are for pregnancy or military deployment. So there are some exceptions in which you could take more than 1 leave of absence, or you would register for the placeholder course if you aren't able to take a credit-bearing course during the fall or spring semester. Failure to, quote, take action in this, according to this policy, results in the following. If you don't take action for 1 semester, there's a hold placed on your account and there's a fee associated to remove the hold. If you don't take action 2 semesters in a row, your matriculation would be closed. And if you ultimately decided you wanted to return, you would have to reapply to the program and you'd be held to all of the requirements and standards of the application and admission process at the time of reapplication. So just keep that in mind as you're moving through the program, that we just basically want you to tell us what you're doing and so that we know that you're still around and planning to complete your program. Also to that end, there are time limitations for program completion. So all of your requirements have to be completed within the amount of time listed here from the date of matriculation. Taking a leave of absence does stop the clock for a semester or 2 semesters if you end up taking two semesters off. But registering for the continuous matriculation course does not stop the clock. So just keep that in mind as you're making your decisions about, how you want to handle taking a semester off. For doctoral students, 7 years is the time limit for program completion if you start the program with a master's degree in a related field. And it's 10 years if you start the doctoral program with a bachelor's degree or an unrelated master's degree. So just keep that in mind as you're planning out your semesters and your time in the program. I want to talk a little bit about Canvas. Canvas is our learning management system here at MSU. It's similar to Blackboard or Web Study for students who've been in other places that maybe use that kind of system. It's the system that your instructors use to publish course materials, the syllabus, They create assignments in Canvas and use it to foster interaction between students. We have an orientation course in Canvas, which will include a copy of this presentation and access to a whole host of other resources, campus resources. So I'm going to go over a couple of campus resources right now in this presentation, but you will be invited to join the Canvas course. Hopefully that will go out next week once we've done our orientation sessions and we've uploaded these presentation recordings to our course. I think that's all I need to say about that. Yes, that's all. Oh, also there's tutorials. So if you're not familiar with Canvas, you can access the tutorials. You can just do a search for it on our website, or once you receive the presentation, as Dr. Valenti said earlier, all of these links are live. So you can click through the presentation and access the information. So we'll start our discussion of campus resources with our counseling and psychological services. And we have just a short video for you to learn more about the resources available to you through CAPS.
Hello and welcome. My name is Dr. Sada Wadwani and I'm the staff psychologist here at CAPS, Counseling and Psychological Services. So let me tell you a little bit about what we offer. We have individual short-term therapy where you can call our front desk at 973-655-5211 and you would be scheduled with a counselor for an initial phone appointment. We also have a referral coordinator that can help you find a therapist in your area if that's something that might work best for you. Let me tell you a little bit about our other services as well. We have a part-time psychiatrist on staff. I mentioned our referral coordinator. We have a program called Protocol with counselors that provide support after hours and in emergencies. And also, I want to let you know about a program called Chow Connect. That is our therapy-assisted online program. You can check it out on our website. We list all of our modules. What you do is you log on with your Montclair State email and you can check out all of our self-help resources for a variety of issues that you may have. In addition, we have a program called Let's Talk. Let's Talk is actually, it's meant for busy people and it's meant to increase access to support. We offer 9 different times, each 90-minute blocks through the week, Monday through Friday. And each day, Monday through Thursday, we will have one in person and one virtually through Zoom. So I want you to know that we have a variety of resources available to you, and we understand that you have a lot going on and want you to know that we are here for you. So take care and have a wonderful year.
Okay. So in addition to our counseling and psychological services, we have a Center for Writing Excellence, which is available to all students, faculty, staff, and alumni. You can schedule sessions with writing consultants who can help you with every aspect of the writing process. And we do actually have one of our graduate assistants in the graduate school who will be introduced to you a little bit later in the presentation, who is specifically here to support our doctoral students. The Disability Resource Center is available to assist students in receiving accommodations and services necessary to equalize access for any physical, sensory, learning, psychological, neurological, or chronic medical disabilities. So you would need to just contact them if you need to request any type of accommodations for your coursework. The Office of Global Engagement is available to our international students. They provide information and rules related to visa status, They provide an orientation specifically for our international students and help students find employment, and also offer cultural and social activities on campus. We did also include the link for parking services. I don't think that much explanation is needed there, but you will need a parking permit for campus. Depending on how often you're here, some students choose to just pay by the day when they come, or you would have to, just take a look at the parking services, the costs, and determine what's more cost effective for you. But the link is there for all that information. Redhawk Central is the office that oversees financial aid, the registrar's office, and student accounts. So if you have any questions about those types of things, issues with registration, your balance, or any kind of aid that you might be receiving, Redhawk Central is the main hub where you would send an email and your question or concern would be directed to the right place for a response. Student ID cards, again, not much explanation needed. The link there is to the website where you can find more information about how to obtain an ID card. I believe you would submit a photo. They aren't taking photos in person, so it's something you can just do through the website. You don't have to come to campus necessarily to get your ID card. We have a university health center. It's a comprehensive outpatient facility that's available to all registered students. The University Health Center oversees all of the immunization requirements and our health insurance program. So there, the links, through that link, you can submit any immunization requirements that you still need to provide. And the health insurance you're automatically enrolled in that if you're registered for 9 credits or more. And you are able to waive the health insurance that the university provides. And I believe what I saw the date to be is you have to submit that waiver by September 30th. So that form and information for how to waive the health insurance, if you have your own already, is available through that link there, through the health center. Just a word about course modalities. Again, this link will take you to some more detailed information, but you just want to make sure that when you're registering for your classes, you check and see what the modality is. So every course should list how it's being offered. So the Hawk to Hawk would be your traditional face-to-face courses where you're coming into campus every time your class is supposed to meet. There are also mixed modalities with hybrid instruction. So you would just need to look and see what your course is, how it's specifically being offered. And then we do also have fully online instruction, which can be offered in a synchronous situation like this, where you are logging on at a specific time and you're interacting with your faculty and other students like this, or an asynchronous session where you're just completely online and working asynchronously with your faculty member and submitting your assignments by a particular due date. Okay, so we're now to the question and answers for part 1 of this presentation. And then once we've answered a few questions, we'll move on to the specific information about doctoral students.
Absolutely. And if you want to put questions in a chat, or you want to raise your hand, and we'll call on you, and you can give us you can ask us in person, whatever you want to do, but we want to be able to answer your questions. We're only going to do this for about 5 minutes because we're going to get on to part 2, looking at doctoral students specifically. And then, but we can take your questions offline. You can email us or anything like that. But if there's anything you want to ask right now, please feel free to do that.
Hi, my name is Raisa Florentino. And I was wondering, does the university has a specific holidays that they take off and we do not have classes? For example, Labor Day is coming up and I wanted to know, I don't know if that's more of a question for the doctoral side or no. I just wrote them down, so I didn't know if it was appropriate to ask now.
There is actually an academic calendar posted to the website, and you can see what days are off going into the spring, when is spring break. But I can tell you Labor Day, the university is closed.
Thank you so much.
So I have a really quick question because you were talking about the modality of the classes. For asynchronous classes, would you like rely on Canvas in order to figure out like what assignments are due and everything and like various things about the course and things like that?
Yes.
Well, oh, go ahead, Susan.
Go ahead.
Well, each professor will handle things, may handle things a little bit differently, and your syllabus will tell you exactly what the expectations are. But yes, most use Canvas and will have, weekly modules and assignments and that sort of thing that they'll expect you to, go to a link and follow whatever there is. But that's one of those cases. Don't be afraid to ask. And each individual professor will tell you what they expect.
All right, cool.
I think I see a hand. Do I see a hand? No, sorry. That was my cursor. Any other questions that anybody needs to ask right now? If not, we'll move on to the second part, but please don't hesitate to follow up with any one of us that you met here in this first part, and we will help you with anything that you need later after this. Okay. All right, I'm turning it over to Nellie.
Hey, hello again, everyone.
Nellie, can I stop you just 1 second? It looked like I missed Mayala was asking a question, and I apologize for that.
No, it's okay, Miss Laura. Now, I just wanted to say thank you to Karen. I actually now see Karen, who's been helping us really very timelessly. So I wanted just to say thank you. I was expecting, oh no, because she's always on time. So I wanted to say just thank you, Karen. We've been receiving your email and you've been very helpful. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Well, that was worth stopping for. Thank you for
Definitely.
saying
It was.
Okay.
There's also a question in the chat.
I will answer that.
Okay.
You can answer it in the chat, you mean?
I will say it. Each assistantship can be different. So each offer that you have will state how many credits you should take to maintain your assistantship. So some are 9 credits, some are 6 credits, or just that you are registered for a class. It depends on your complete offer. The doctoral especially are very different and varied. So you really have to read your assistantship offer, and then your confirmation will also have it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody. Like I said, feel free to write us afterwards. But now we're going to turn our attention to this part of the program.
Okay, so I wanted to tell you, for the sake of time, I have to say that I have a hard stop at 7, I should say, your time. I wanted to go over the main points, I guess, of information to share with you. But also for the sake of time, if you have any questions that you want to write in the chat, I will make a good effort to constantly look at the chat to see if there's anything there. I might be able to speak to it with the little, the few words that I'm going to share with you. So feel free to do that. And if we can get to the questions in the next half hour or so, we'll do that. And if not, we'll get back to you later. So please feel free to write your questions. There is no question that is not a good question. Every question is important. This is the beginning of your program. It's a huge investment of your life. in terms of resources, your time and effort, sacrifice. So we value that and we want to be here for you. So don't believe that there is a question that is silly or that is not important. I wanted to give you also a piece of homework. I would like you to please, after today, go to the Montclair website, Montclair State website, go to the graduate school, and you can find that easily, and then go to the students, current students link in the graduate school, and then go to the doctoral students link. You know, just a few links, go there and read everything that is in the page of doctoral students. There is a wealth of information for you. There are resources of different kinds. And then you need to be aware of what's available to you. So I encourage you to go to the website, graduate school, doctoral, current students, doctoral students. That's a sequence of links that you need to make sure that you read everything that we have put there for you. We have two types of doctoral programs at Montclair. One is a professional doctorate in audiology, and you're seeing that on the screen right now. And then we have the more traditional, academically speaking, PhD programs. They are different in important ways. The doctorate in audiology is very much a practice, clinical-oriented doctoral program. And the culminating experience is a research project that is a little bit different from a traditional dissertation that you will have in other programs. We wanted to just highlight that here. The grad school does have a role in the approval of your progress as you move along the program, and certainly in the approval of the culminating research project. So I will be working with you and the dean on that in the approval of the final stages. So that's, I'm going to continue and then talk about the PhD programs. And one thing, the other thing I wanted to mention is that all the information here, you will receive it as Laura said, but it's also in the dissertation handbook, the guidelines, which are in that page for doctoral students that are mentioned. So everything here is there. You can access this in different ways. And so you don't have to, remember a lot of this today, but what I would like you to remember is a very important aspect of your doctoral experience, and that is, it is not too early to start thinking about your dissertation. And it is not early to start thinking about your culminating research project in the case of the audiology students. It may seem that it's far away, but it's really not. Everything that will lead to your dissertation or your culminating project start the first day. It has already started for many of you, but certainly starts the first day that you are in a class, that you start taking your courses. Why is that? Because that's where you will meet your future advisors and the future members of your dissertation committee. These are the people that will guide you, that will help you define your topics for your dissertation, which is the culminating experience in a PhD program. So that's why we put it there in the slide. You can see it. You obviously start with coursework, but it's not early, as I said, to start thinking about the next steps. The way the doctoral life cycle works is that you take the coursework in the beginning. In some programs, there are structured ways to work on your dissertation topic, but that doesn't happen in every program. So it's very important that you always talk to your advisor, to your DPD, to everyone that you can speak to from the faculty in your program to better understand the requirements that are specific to your program. I cannot stress this enough. These are the general guidelines and the general sort of sequence, but you will have specific requirements that you have to be very much aware of for your program. So always remember to do that. But in general, the process is that once you complete your courses, you're going to do your comps, the comprehensive experience or the qualifying examination. That then leads to a series of forms that you have to fill out after you complete your coursework. And those are forms A through H. Those are all in the website. You will see that when you do the homework that I'm asking you to complete. The form A is the approval of the culminating activity. Everything that happens has to be signed off by the graduate school. Okay, so I, as well as the dean, are very much involved in the stages from the approval of your culminating or culminating or comprehensive activity, which then makes you a candidate. You're officially a candidate for your PhD program. There are differences in how programs do the sequence of the forms. For example, if you're in environmental science and management, you will do Form B, which is your dissertation committee before your qualifying experience. You will learn that as you go in the program. In any case, there will be different forms for the approval of the committee, approval of the proposal for your dissertation, approval of an external member of the dissertation committee, and so forth. So everything has to follow that same system. Once you complete your dissertation proposal, then you enter the dissertation research stage. You have to go through IRB and all of that. So, and then you do the defense of your dissertation, which is at the bottom of the slide here. Let's continue on just for the sake of time. We have developed detailed timelines for the final year. You should probably think about your final year in your PhD program or doctoral program as a year for your writing, some of the research and writing of your dissertation, if not before. Very important is to note that you have 3 years from the candidacy, from obtaining candidacy to getting your proposal approved for the dissertation research. So 3 years seem a long time, but it's not really a long time. One thing, if nothing else, that I would like you to remember from today is that you always need to be making some type of progress. It's difficult sometimes. Some of you will be part-time students. You will have all kinds of challenges and commitments. But it's important to just keep going. Even if you don't have a lot of time, devote any time that you have in your day and in your week to continue making progress. This is information that you have in the guidelines for dissertation writing, and this just tries to illustrate what your final year could look like. In some programs, you actually start writing the dissertation before the proposal is approved. Some chapters of the dissertation are part of your proposal. That is true of counseling. If you're in the counseling program, that's going to be the case for you. So that's good in the sense that you have some legwork already into the final year of writing the dissertation and submitting the defense. The whole point of this slide, and you'll see that at your leisure, you can read this more carefully, is that you need to start early, start writing early, and engage your committee also early, not just your advisor. You need to discuss with your advisor how to engage with the committee, but it's very important to do that as early as you can. Moving on, we have a sample here also of the different deadlines. I think that's in the next slide for the final steps. You can, the degree conferrals happen in August, in January, and in May. And there are different semesters in which you can defend your dissertation. You can do it in the fall and graduate in the spring, graduate in May, or graduate in the summer. And we have all that laid out for you. I will be there with you along the way for these final stages. I think in the next slide, we have a couple other examples. So this is if you wanted to graduate in May, this is a timeline that you have to follow and so forth. The whole point of this, again, is that you should not ever wait. You should be proactive. Reach out to your advisor, ask questions, get help in defining your topic and making progress in your dissertation. It's a lot of the responsibility of making progress is on you. Just in terms of reaching out and getting feedback from your advisor and the committee. And the same is true for your courses and for any other writing that you're going to do along the way. So if we move on then to the next slide, one very important aspect, this is another example of the deadlines. So one thing that you probably already heard from someone else is that check your email. Check your Montclair email always, because we will be sending information by email to you. And that's a very good way to also communicate with us if you have any questions. So we don't want to stop a lot in these dates, because it's early, relatively speaking, for you to think about, when you're going to complete all of these steps, but it's highly structured, is the point. Another recommendation that I would make right now is that when you do a big project, and the dissertation is a big project, certainly huge in some ways, try to do a plan for it, a plan with milestones, a plan of completion, from the early stages to the end. At some point, you can incorporate our deadlines into your plan, and that will help you make progress, in an efficient way, making sure that you're completing every step. If we move on then to the next one, I believe the questions so far are about assistantships, right? Nothing on the content so far. The other big important thing for you to know, this is the most important thing that I want you to know, is that we have a graduate assistant, Jenny Haber, that is simply a wonderful person that you should reach out to tomorrow or maybe a week after you start your courses. She is an outstanding person that will help you. Oh, actually not tomorrow, because she's on vacation until the start of the semester. I forgot that part. She is an amazing person that, and I'm not saying that out of my opinion, other students that have already worked with her can't thank her enough for all the help that she has provided in terms of writing. You may think that you write very well, and that is probably true, but because there is so much writing involved in your doctorate studies, and the dissertation is a huge amount of writing, it will serve you well to reach out to her for help. You can make one-on-one appointments with her, schedule meetings. We have workshops also that we will offer throughout the year. But what I want you to know is that you have an important resource available to you in terms of the biggest, maybe the most challenging aspect of a doctoral program. Okay, let's move on. I already said this, but we have online resources. These are listed down there, the policy manual, dissertation guidelines, but go to the website again, and there's a lot more that we're not listing here. So I think the next slide probably is introduction to Jenny, or not yet. Okay, I already spoke about her, so without further ado, let's hear from her directly. She's going to tell you a little bit about what she can provide to you. Is there an issue with the sound?
I can't hear it. I don't know if anybody else can.
I provide writing assistance at any stage of writing
Okay.
Oh, here it is.
Started hearing it. It was because I was muted. I'm sorry. I'll start it over.
Hi, Doc students. Welcome to Montclair State University and welcome to the grad school. My name is Jennifer Haber and I'm a graduate assistant liaison at the Graduate School and Center for Writing Excellence at Montclair State University. So what kind of services do I provide for graduate students like you? Well, I provide writing assistance at any stage of the writing process for any kind of writing assignment, and I specialize with doctoral students like you. So what does that mean? I can help you with writing your dissertation, organizing it, structuring it. I can help you with your grammar and lexical concerns, so sentence level revisions, formatting and citations. So if you're unfamiliar with APA 7th edition, APA 6th edition, CSE style, or any other citation style,
I'm your go-to girl. I can also help you if you're looking to become published. I help people write books. I can help you edit your writing. I also can help you brainstorm if you're setting out to start an assignment. And I also can help with professional writing. So if you're looking to write your resume or cover letters, I'm your go-to girl for that as well. And I can help with creative writing, like writing a book for just your own personal gain, or writing song lyrics, or writing poetry. I can help you with any kind of writing, and that's my specialty. So I provide one-on-one writing consultations through the Graduate School and Center for Writing Excellence. So you can reach me through my email, which I'll provide again at the end of this PowerPoint presentation. And I provide 25 and 50-minute duration sessions. So you can meet with me through Zoom, chat, or in person at the Center for Writing Excellence, or come and visit me at the Graduate School office, because I provide individualized free consultations for all of my doc students, because I want to make sure that you know that I'm here for you and not the other way around. So I also provide workshops for all of my doc students, and I'm constantly looking to update the additional support resources that we have for you. So I'm always open to feedback from all of my students, because I want to make this process a very easy one and smooth one for you. So I also am involved in that review and approval dissertation process at the end when you're getting towards the end of your degree. I'm also the person that you will be contacting for that process. So I look over your dissertations, I help you with the formatting, and I make sure that you get approved on time so you get your degree. So I am here always to help you with any kind of writing. So again, here's my email. It's haberj2@montclair.edu. And I just want you to know that whether you're taking classes online or in person, you have a family and support system here at the Graduate School. Welcome, congratulations on your attendance at Montclair State University, and happy writing. Bye.
If I may, I would like to add a couple of things. So we're getting to the end of this part, but I would like to add just to reiterate that the grad school is very much involved in the approval of your progress as a doctoral student. So you need to make sure that when you have completed a milestone in the process, going back to the life cycle and the forms that I was mentioning earlier, when you become a candidate, again, try to be proactive and check with your advisor the signature of the forms. Very often it happens, not very, but it happens that a student will complete a milestone, but we don't know about it because the program advisor or someone forgot to send us the form. It's extremely important that we are aware of this. I'll give you an example. If you defend your proposal in one semester, you can't defend if you get your proposal approved, I should say, there is an oral defense of that, but if you get it approved in one semester, you can't defend your dissertation in the same semester. So it could happen that if someone forgot to send us a form indicating that the proposal was approved, then we're going to tell you, no, you can't defend, you don't have a proposal. So it's extremely important that we always keep in communication. That's why we're here at your service. Let us know what's going on with you. If you have issues or delays or anything that may become an obstacle, you also need to communicate as much as possible. I wanted to also mention that the deadline, the timeline for completion of 7 years, if you come with a master's in the discipline, or 10 years, if you come with a bachelor's, are true regardless of your part-time or full-time status. So it's extremely important, again, to keep track of things and try to continue making progress and communicate with us. As much as you communicate with your advisor, we also need to be in the loop of what's happening in your life and how we can help us. That's it for me. If you have any questions, I don't see any questions yet in the chat, but if there are any questions about this section of our orientation, I'm happy to answer them, or anyone else in the team, I'm sure can help as well.
I just want to add that in addition to Jenny Haber, who is an amazing resource, you should not make it through your first year without having a conversation with her. Just really telling you that. But in addition to Jenny, who was a new resource that TGS developed this year, starting in September, also at your disposal is someone who can assist you with statistics, with the data side. And both are obviously very important in a doctoral program. So on campus is a place called CAST, C-A-S-T. It's the Center for Academic Success and Tutoring. And there we now, the graduate school is sponsoring a graduate assistant who specializes in statistics. So if you need to put some data into one of your papers, if you're having trouble working on that piece of it, there's help for you there as well. Okay, so again, that's CAST, C-A-S-T, and there is somebody there. And again, all these services are free. Take advantage of them.
And the other thing, thank you, Laura, that's extremely important. And I'm sure it's going to be very useful, as the writing help has been already useful to students. Laura is right that the writing assistance from Jenny doesn't apply just to the dissertation, and you should not wait until then to reach out to her. You will have to interact with her for the dissertation because it's part of the approval process, but you should do it as early as you can in your studies, because everything that you do from day one in your courses will be helpful as you enter the research and dissertation stage. The other thing I wanted to add is that we are going to offer workshops, as Jenny, I believe, mentioned in the video. A couple of them are already, you can see the recordings in the website, in the doctoral students page. If you see that there is something that is interesting to you, we would be happy to hear your suggestions. I don't know that we can provide it immediately, but we would be happy to hear from you in terms of, first of all, how you are doing, any challenges that you're facing, and anything that might be useful that we may look into seeing how to provide along the way.
So I just want to mention on this last slide, that's our main line phone number. The grad school is our main email for email inquiries, but we also have the email GSO, which stands for Graduate Student Orientation. So if you have questions specifically about orientation, what we've presented tonight, anything like that, if you can use that GSO email, we'll know that it's related to orientation, and we can answer those questions. If it's a more broad question or something about, needing help with your registration or advisement questions, those questions are best directed to your academic department, your doctoral program coordinator, or the staff in the academic department where your program is housed. So we're happy to answer any other questions that you might have. I'm going to stop the recording now. And again, this will be emailed to you tomorrow, and it'll be accessible to you in the Canvas course at some point next week. Thank you for coming.